Good day to everyone, especially to our subject instructor. My name is Jessel Abarico from the Department of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And for today's video, we're going to tackle about the scientific revolution. This lesson will give light to the development of science and scientific ideas in the heart of the society. It is the goal of this lesson to articulate ways by which society is transformed by science and technology. The world has a long history of science. There is no one who knows exactly when and where science originated. Science has existed since the beginning of time. It is always inextricably linked to society. So, what is the definition of science? Science as an idea. It includes ideas, theories, and all available systematic explanations and observations about the natural and physical world. Science as an intellectual activity. It encompasses a systematic and practical study of natural and physical world. This process of study involves systematic observation and experimentation. Science as a body of knowledge. It is a subject or a discipline, a field of study, or a body of knowledge that deals with the process of learning about the natural and physical world. This is what we refer to as school science. Science as a personal and social activity. This explains that science is both knowledge and activities done by humans being to develop better understanding of the world around them. It is a means to improve life and to survive in life. It is interwoven with people's lives. So what is scientific revolution? The scientific revolution was a set of events that occurred during the early modern period and marked the formation of modern science, when advances in mathematics, physics, astronomy, biology, and chemistry altered society's understanding of nature. Scientific revolution is the name given to a period of drastic change in scientific thought that took place during the 16th and 17th centuries. It replaced the Greek view of nature that had dominated since for almost 2,000 years. The scientific revolution was characterized by an emphasis of abstract reasoning, quantitative thought, an understanding of how nature works, the view of nature as a machine, and the development of an experimental scientific method. Why was the scientific revolution important? The scientific revolution led the foundation of the Age of Enlightenment, which centered on reason as a primary source of authority and legitimacy and emphasized the importance of the scientific method. How is the scientific revolution connected to Enlightenment? The Enlightenment, like the scientific revolution, began in Europe, taking place during the 17th and 18th centuries. This intellectual movement synthesized ideas concerning God, reason, nature, and humanity into a worldview that celebrated reason. This emphasis on reason grew out of discoveries made by prominent thinkers, including the astronomy of Nicolaus Copernicus and Galileo, the philosophy of René Descartes, and the physics and cosmology of Isaac Newton, many of whom preceded the Enlightenment. What did the scientific revolution lead to? The sudden emergence of new information during the scientific revolution called into question religious beliefs, moral principles, and the traditional scheme of nature. It also strained old institutions and practices, necessitating new ways of communicating and disseminating information. Prominent innovations including scientific societies, which were created to discuss and validate new discoveries, and scientific papers, which were developed as tools to communicate new information comprehensively and test the discoveries and hypotheses made by their authors. Effects of scientific revolution. The scientific revolution influenced the development of the Enlightenment values of individualism because it demonstrated the power of the human mind. The ability of scientists to come to their own conclusions rather than deferring to instilled authority confirmed the capabilities and the worth of the individual. Ideals. The scientific revolution was characterized by an emphasis on abstract reasoning, quantitative thought, an understanding of how nature works, the view of nature as a machine, and the development of an experimental scientific method. Technology. During the scientific revolution, many instruments were invented, such as microscope, barometer, and thermometer. These new inventions helped confirm that experiments could prove theories. These instruments help with observations and experimentations. How scientific revolution changed the world. The scientific revolution, which emphasized systematic experimentation as the most valid research method, resulted in developments of mathematics, physics, astronomy, biology, and chemistry. These developments transformed the views of society about nature. What was revolutionary about the scientific revolution? The scientific revolution was so revolutionary because people started to use experimentation, the scientific method, and math to discover the world and prove things. Common people were able to gain knowledge for themselves instead of believing old teaching and the Catholic Church for information. In conclusion, the scientific revolution brought dramatic change in the way people lived their lives, and it certainly influenced 18th century free thinking. The scientific method was comprehensively utilized during the 18th century to study human behavior and societies. So that's all for my report. Thank you and God bless.